What is up, sports fans far and wide? It's your boy, Media by AP, back with another episode of the Fast Five, joined as always by the man that they call Unit over there in Las Vegas, Nevada. Hope everybody is doing well, and we've made it, Unit. Football season is here. UTEP screwed me on my first college football bet of the year.
Same.
I got off the plane actually coming back from Vegas and bet that game on the runway and then listened to it on the drive home. And I was just like, oh, here we go again. So college football is back. I'm excited. CU out here locally in Colorado, CSU. And I know obviously out there in Nevada, as well as some of the other states that you guys operate in, including Tennessee, SEC country. Plenty of buzz, plenty of optimism around not only college football getting ready to start up in its entirety, but also the NFL. What's up, buddy? How we doing? And ready for some football?
I'm glad we're back after taking a week off. We had a nice little appetizer with week 0, but now we got a stacked slate, and then NFL coming up quick to follow.
I'm excited, man. And, I was talking to you before we started the show, like out here in Colorado, you've got dual big time interest with CU, obviously, and Coach Prime, and then the Broncos with Sean Payton. And, I think it was a couple of shows ago, like it's hard to get worked up over the preseason. Like I didn't place a single NFL preseason bet. I watched a couple of, games here and there, but like the fun starts now. Week 0 out of the way, college football coming up this weekend, and then the NFL here just a couple of weeks behind. So we'll have some fun here on the show. Make sure to follow me at Media by AP. He's at Superbook Unit, and also be sure to get those bets in with Superbook Sports. And when you use my promo code AP Bets, you'll get yourself a bonus of $250 when you sign up, deposit, and place a wager in the same day. And I know there's a lot of you out there that have probably been waiting for this bonus or waiting for these opportunities. Now is the time to do it, folks. Football season is here. Stretch your dollar with Superbook Sports and use my promo code AP Bets along the way, and away we go. So college football, NFL football, funny professional athletes, thumbs up, thumbs down, a little bit of this, a little bit of that to get us started here on the show today. Quickly, though, like you said, you like college football more than the NFL?
Yeah, I do. Just because, I love them both. Like, it's like a 1A, 1B type situation. But college football is just like, here in the Pacific time, the game started like 9 a.m. And then you got the Pac-12, Mountain West games, and then Hawaii real late. So it's like an all-day affair for me, especially, you start by, having a nice cup of coffee and everything, and then you just go throughout your day, order some wings, whatever. You just sit on the couch. You don't have to move for the entire Saturday. That's a picture-perfect Saturday for me, especially when you're cashing some bets along the way too.
Yeah, it is. It's a great way to spend the weekend. Saturday rolling on over into Sunday, firing off those bets on the Superbook Sports app, and I can't wait. So I agree with you. Like, there's something about college football that's like, I don't know, just easier to consume. Like I get a little worked up over the NFL. So I've actually found myself really loving college football the older that I've gotten, especially from a betting perspective, more variance, more teams, more games, and all that good stuff. But I do love me some NFL football, and I don't think you're going to take my thumbs up this week, but we'll save that for the end. I've got 2 thumbs up that I'm going to give.
Did you have any opinion on the new rules now with like the clock doesn't stop after you get a first down in college now? They say it's saving like 7 plays out of the game. It pretty much just adds more commercials. It shrinks the time down, but they just add 13 minutes of commercials or whatever.
Nothing. I don't really have too much opinion, and unfortunately, that's just the way the world is going. Is more ads, more commercials. They should put us in these commercial breaks instead of Limu Emu or some of these other. Limu Emu is Liberty, isn't it? I just want to know, Liberty, what is your marketing budget? Because we've got some opportunities here at Mile High Sports. Because I swear, every YouTube video I click on, I bet you half of the people watching this on YouTube probably had the Limu Emu and Doug ad play before they watch this. I don't think I've seen a company advertise as hardcore as Liberty has the last couple.
I just want the Burger King commercials back. Whopper.
For Whopper. That was a good time.
They got to bust something out big for the NFL season, because that was my favorite commercial maybe of all time.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for sure. So, all right, let's dive into it. We're going to start with some college football. And what's actually interesting about this unit? This is the last year of the traditional kind of Power 5 setup. The Pac-12 will – I don't know what the Pac-12 is going to be next year. And then obviously the SEC will always be the SEC. And then you've got, the Big 12, Big 10, ACC, and how, those conferences are going to be changing. So, this really is kind of the last dance essentially for college football as I've known it essentially throughout my entire life. So We'll see how that kind of shakes out. It'll be an interesting, kind of see how the game changes over the years here as we move forward, expansion of the playoff, the whole nine. But your thoughts, where's your head at here as we get into yet another college football season?
I'm just excited to have a full slate, but you mentioned, this being like the one last run with all these conferences being the way they are, but I'm kind of glad it's that way for the Pac-12 because this past weekend, there's all these small games. You got to watch college football, but there are no, massive games that you can't miss. But you got the best player in the entire country, Caleb Williams, and you can't even watch him. I was streaming him on my phone when I got 3 big TVs in front of me, watching UTEP, watching, Ohio against San Diego State, all these schools. When you could watch the best player in college football, I got to watch it on a stream on my phone because I don't have Pac-12 network.
Yeah, it's a pain. And that maybe that it's not my thumbs down, but like this blackout restrictions, like I was listening to VSiN and they talk about all the time the same thing that you deal with Major League Baseball, where it's just like, I mean, you're blacked out from watching like a quarter of the league and you're not even in a state that has a professional team. The jurisdiction for some of this stuff is ridiculous, but that's what the Superbook Sports app is for. That's the beautiful thing. Social media, Twitter, X, you follow along with the games there. Thankfully there's plenty of games going on. So really there's no shortage of action. I want to ask you one broad picture question. I know you and I are each going to kind of give a bet that we like here for week 1. I was just looking at it as you were talking. Georgia is plus 225 to win the national championship this year. And I mean, they're essentially the overwhelming favorite. I mean, they're number 1. Alabama's at 7-1, Michigan at 8-1, Ohio State 8-1. And then it opens up a little bit. USC 10-1, LSU 12-1. Are you in agreement with the perceived notion that it's Georgia and everybody else, or do you think there's some other teams that could really make some noise this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Georgia. I mean, they're the best until someone proves otherwise. But with them being plus 225 to win the whole thing, that opens up value for all these other teams behind them. With Bama 7-1, Michigan 8-1, Ohio State 8-1, USC. Their defense doesn't look very great, and they had a few penalties in that week 0 game. So, that I think a lot of those teams following Georgia have some good value on to sprinkle. But, I mean, Notre Dame this weekend, I know they're just playing Navy, but, Hartman looked really good at quarterback. I think that could be pretty good value, 40-1. Tennessee playing this weekend, Joe Milton. Last year, I think I had them like 85-1. And that ended up going to shit, but I felt pretty good about that ticket.
I was doing a bad thing here, but I'm trying to, Livy Dunn, LSU, go Tigers, baby.
Okay.
Keep an eye on LSU. No, on a serious sense, I was listening to some podcasts and doing some reading. They got a really talented roster down there, and I see 12-1. And I'm like, a little shooting of the dart, maybe. I don't know. But I do think it's kind of Georgia's world until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, but you mentioned LSU. That is the game maybe this weekend that I'm looking forward to the most, and that's on Sunday. They did the same thing last year, whereas LSU Florida State.
Yep.
That's a stacked game. I think LSU's 5th in the nation, and Florida State is like 8th or something. But last year, I don't know if you remember, they played on the Sunday of Labor Day weekend.
Yep.
And it came down to – it was a crazy game. And it came down to an extra point to tie the game, and it was blocked or they just missed it. I remember I had LSU. And there's just a video of me. I was in Nashville. We were watching at a bar with some of my college friends, and they just have this video of me after I had LSU. I'm just sitting I'll put the video over this. I'm just like sitting at the table with my head down. And that was how I kicked off my college football season, with that Sunday game. So I'm looking forward to doing it again this weekend.
I'm so excited. I'm going to just be betting. I mean, I know next week we're going to have some fun with the draft, but it's Colorado. I'm going to indulge in the beauty that Colorado has to offer. Probably order a nice big pizza, maybe some chicken wings, as you alluded
Put
to.
Green chili all over it too.
It's not bad, unit. It's not bad. Maybe some Arnold Palmer, and we'll be good to go. All right, let's do this, my friend. Give me a bet. Give me a team. Give me a side that you like for week 1. Let's give the people what they want.
I'm going to go with the more intriguing games of the schedule, mainly because the teams who are in it have the same name. It's the Battle of Miami's. Miami, Ohio versus Miami, Florida. I'm a MAC guy, and I love these MAC teams. I'm going to take – I already took earlier this week Miami, Ohio, plus 17.5. It's plus 16.5 right now. But I think both these teams have pretty good defenses. And Miami, Ohio, I think they're going to be one of the better teams in the MAC. And you see every year there's one of these MAC teams who play one of the Power 5 schools and end up either winning outright or, keeping the game pretty close. And I think this is going to be one of those spots where that's in play. I think that Miami, Ohio is going to keep this game pretty close. So I'm going to go with the Red Hawks here.
I like
Plus
it.
17.
And college football's back. Like you say, plus 17 and a half, and I'm looking at the menu right now. I mean, I sometimes I forget how big these spreads are. Like Texas A&M laying 39 points at home against New Mexico. USC 38-point favorites against Nevada. Auburn 35-point favorites against UMass. Like the spreads are just so crazy in college football. There's even some of these games like you can't get a money line price on Texas A&M because they're probably minus 5,000.
Well, even a conference game, Ohio State's minus 30 against Indiana, and that's a conference.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. My friendly bet, and I'll do this for Mackey. 14 points, Wyoming Tech. I don't know. Wyoming at home, season opener. I don't know. No, all right. I'll keep it also local though.
It's altitude.
And it is the altitude. And you knew this was coming, Unit. You knew it was coming. You're going to give me 20 and a half points. 20 and a half points. With the
taking Colorado,
Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter led Colorado Buffaloes against a TCU team that, frankly, whether or not you want to hear it, overachieved last year. They don't have their quarterback, some roster turnover as well. 20 and a half points. I'm not saying CU is going to win the game, and I know I'm wearing it with the heart on my sleeve here. They could maybe even buy the half point of the point and get it up to 21 and a half. This team, I think, can keep it within 3 touchdowns. And the thing about CU is, who's to say they can't capture lightning in a bottle? I already have them beating Nebraska. Like, we can fast forward to next week's episode. I've been out publicly saying that. CU will beat Nebraska. That is happening. And they've got CSU, I believe, in between or after that game as well. Who's to say they don't start out strong against TCU, cover that game, come home, beat CSU, beat Nebraska. Now you're 2-1. It opens everything up. I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, but give me CU plus 20 and a half. In all seriousness, I think some turnover for TCU. I think people are sleeping on CU. The talent is there. They've got a good coaching staff. And I think Shador is better than people think. And they've got one of the best corners, if not the best corner in the nation, in Travis Hunter, who's also going to play two ways. So give me the Buffs plus 20 and a half. Let's ride.
So does that mean
they
that
covered against them last year? Hold on, let me keep talking. But I think they covered against TCU last year in the first game of the year.
So does that mean that CU next week against Nebraska plus 8 is your super double max 1,000-unit lock of the year pick?
We're gonna play hopscotch with the betting, right? So like there's the hopscotch roulette method where it's like, okay, you do a 1-to-1 bet and then you hit that and you place it on some of the numbers or the dozen. So hopscotch bet, CU plus 20 and a half. Roll it over next week or whenever they play Nebraska. CU money line. It's a get-rich-quick scheme. I shouldn't say that. Apologies.
But, bet responsibly.
Bet responsibly. Do not take that advice. I apologize. But no, I'm just generally excited about CU, man. I think that they're going to – you can't question the talent on the roster. And that level of talent with the – and I was watching Undisputed this morning, and I think it was Skip who said it. And I know Skip's kind of crazy, but I think he's right in Deion Sanders is one guy I would never bet against in anything in life. And you're going to give me essentially 3 touchdowns, I'll take it. So we can move along. I don't want to bore everybody with my CU takes, but
that's a homer pick. I might have to go Frogs.
We coming, baby. Come on. What? You think TCU – it's also kind of like the ultimate letdown spot for TCU, though. Yeah, off a national championship, kind of overachieved. You don't have Max Duggan.
Nobody does right now.
No, yeah, that is true. I'm just saying, like, if there was ever, like, hype of CU versus a team in a letdown spot, and you're going to give me essentially 3 touchdowns, I'll take it. So I like it. But you're right, man. There's a lot of great games this weekend. And I also I think you and I are both, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you. I'm a morning guy. So it's like, I like to get up early. Like, I love these 10 a.m. kickoffs. Like I'll be up by 7:30, 8, ready to go, making my green chili homemade. And I'll sit back and watch the games all day.
Yeah, I like how this week, too, it's Thursday, they have games, and then Saturday they got that full slate, and then they have 4 games on Sunday, and then they even have the one, I think, Duke-Clemson game on Monday. So we got a stacked slate of football games. It's going to lead us right into next week, Thursday, NFL coming back.
I'm so excited, dude. I can't wait, and I'll talk about my team maybe a little bit later. But speaking of the NFL – you guys had a nice little betting menu up there over at Superbook Sports. Obviously, there's a variety of different ways you could bet the NFL, game by game, futures, season-long bets, all that kind of stuff. A lot of talent across the league this year. Also, a lot of rookie quarterbacks. 3 of them going to be starting week 1. Best and worst record in the NFL. Why don't you go ahead and set this one up for us?
Yeah, so let's start with the worst record. I mean, who do you think is going to have the worst record? And obviously, the odds reflect the overwhelming favorite to have the worst record is going to be the Cardinals at 2-1. They just announced that I think Dobbs is going to end up being their quarterback. They don't really even have a quarterback. Murray won't be back. So, I mean, it would be hard to see anybody other than the Cardinals having the worst record in the league, but I can see the Bucs. Obviously, their schedule is going to be a little easier than the Cardinals will. So that they have an advantage on that there. But one team where I see some value in is because they're going to have a pretty difficult schedule and they play in that AFC West, which is pretty hard, is the Raiders out here in Las Vegas. They're 10-1 to have the worst record. And, if you're looking for a value play in that, it's the Raiders are probably the way to go. But I would be surprised if it's anyone but the Cardinals.
Well, and to kind of back up the thought process on the Raiders, because I agree with you. I think it's the Cardinals. I don't want to say to lose, but it's kind of up to them to be better than we think they're going to be, I guess. But the wild card factor with the Raiders is Josh McDaniels. Year 2, we saw how that whole thing blew up with the Broncos, about a decade or so ago. So maybe the wheels fall off. I like your thought process on the Bucs. I'm a little surprised that Washington is at, what is this, 100-1, so many zeros, 10,000-1 to win the Super Bowl. So they got the third longest odds to win the Super Bowl. They're tied with Tampa, Indy, Carolina. I think Washington, I can't believe Washington, according to the odds, the third worst team in the NFL. They're not great, but I think they've got more talent than, say, Tampa Bay, who they're even with. I would say probably the Cardinals. And then if I had to make a pick, I hate to agree with you, probably Tampa. If I had to go with the team outside of that, this will make you happy, the Carolina Panthers.
That would be great. The Bears have that pick. So if the Bears are able to get the number 1 pick again, that would be just tremendous.
Yeah, we'll see. Do you think there's any 0-17 teams that are candidates for that?
No, I don't think anybody's that bad where they're going to lose every single game. I mean, the Cardinals are underdogs in every single game. So, I mean, I guess if there's a team that's going to do it, it's going to be the Cardinals. But I'd be shocked. I mean, it's the NFL. It's any given Sunday. So I don't see that happening. But, I mean, for what the price is, I don't know if you want to sprinkle on that or what. But,
yeah,
I don't see it.
No, I'm with you. So, all right, we'll see if the Arizona Cardinals can, prove us wrong in that sense. But much more difficult conversation, or an answer, I should say. Which team do you think is going to have the best record in the NFL?
Yeah, so when you look at all the top teams on this, as far as odds when it comes to having the best record, all of them have pretty tough schedules. Obviously, the Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Eagles, Cowboys, Ravens, Jaguars, they're all going to have pretty relatively tough schedules. But one team that stood out to me, jumped off the page a little bit, was the 49ers. They're 7-1. Their division is not very difficult. I mean, the Seahawks are behind. I expect the Seahawks to kind of fall off a little bit this year, but with the Rams and Cardinals being in that division, those are 6 games right there that they could very easily go 6-0 in the division. So I think the Niners are an extremely tough team, and that's probably my pick to have the best record.
I don't want to out myself, but I'm friends with some folks that put the newsletter together over there at Superbook Sports, and San Francisco is one of the teams for this week. And look, San Francisco, you're going to think I'm biased when I say this, but the 3 best teams on paper in the NFC, San Francisco, Dallas, and Philly, in no particular order, just on paper, that's a fact. San Francisco has a tough division, though. And, you're banking on a 23-year-old quarterback who is still Mr. Irrelevant, who is coming off UCL surgery in the throwing arm. And at the end of the day, are we 100% certain that he didn't just capture lightning in a bottle? Are we sure that the Brock Purdy we saw last year is going to be the Brock Purdy we see for the rest of his career? That's far from a guarantee, in my opinion. The Rams should be better. Cooper Kupp healthy, Matthew Stafford healthy. You still got Aaron Donald. You still got Sean McVay, only 1 year removed from a Super Bowl victory. Seattle made the playoffs last year. We talked about Arizona being the worst team in the league, but you pair that with a first-place schedule, and I believe San Francisco, they got to play Dallas, Cincinnati, Baltimore. They've got some tough games outside of the division as well. So I'd pump the brakes on San Francisco, although I can understand.
We do have the 7th easiest schedule this year.
That's what they want you to think.
Well, I guess it all matters on your opinion on the teams going into the season. But I think Purdy is in a position where all he has to do is not make mistakes. That team is so good. as far as weapons and how good their defense is, that all he has to do is not fumble, not throw interceptions, and get the ball to the playmakers. So last year, that's what he's been able to do. It's not like he's the best quarterback in the league or a star or anything. You just got to get the ball in your star's hands, and you'll be good to go. And I think that's what the Niners are really good at, drawing up and making it pretty easy for Purdy. I think being the quarterback for the Niners is a relatively easy job to have.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I hate to keep it super square, but it's the only answer to this question, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, how could it be anybody but Kansas City?
Yeah.
And I understand, like, they also have a tough division. You realize that Patrick Mahomes has played 80 games in the NFL and has only lost 16 games in his career? Think about that. 80 games played, 16 losses. He's only lost by more than one possession 3 times in his career.
You could have told me he only lost 4 games, and I probably would have believed it.
All they do is win. All they do is win. Cue the music. But it's just one of those where, like I said, I hate to be chalky. I hate to be simplistic. It's going to be – there ain't nobody will be better than the Kansas City Chiefs record-wise. And if it is, it'd have to be an NFC team. And the only team that I could see having a better record than the Kansas City Chiefs with those factors would be the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't think that's going to happen for a multitude of reasons. So I hate to be chalky. But again, 80 games played, 16 losses. You've lost by more than one possession 3 times in your career. All the Chiefs do is win. They're going to have the best record.
Yeah, you're right. I just didn't want to be that guy.
I hate to do it, but it's crazy because, like, I would use the strength of the AFC against every other team in this argument. Like, Baltimore, Cincy, Chargers, Jets, Bills, and then there's the Chiefs, who are just like the exception of the rule. Put the Chiefs in any generation, any era, any dome, non-dome, sunshine and raining. I would take the Kansas City Chiefs 10 times out of 10. This is what it is.
Yeah, they're by far the best team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy I'm not a Broncos fan. You're funny, man. We had someone in the studio today that's a big Justin Fields believer, so made me think of you a little bit. I was
like,
yeah. So, all right, we'll see. But Chiefs best record, and I'll say either Cardinals or Panthers or Bucks for the worst record. I think we're pretty much in agreement there. So, you want to have some fun with this again? You liked my Dak Prescott reaction.
Yeah. I think the people liked the little rapid fire, and it makes for a good clip on social. So now let's do rapid fire. Miss playoffs. I'm just going to name a team. You say either make playoffs or miss playoffs. Easy enough?
I'm ready to go.
All right, starting with the Cleveland Browns.
Miss the playoffs.
Steelers.
They're making the playoffs, baby. Let's go. Mike Tomlin.
Broncos.
They're going to miss the playoffs. I hate to say it. Conference is too tough.
Vikings.
See, the Vikings are a team that I think makes the playoffs just because of how weak the NFC is. Wild card team.
Chargers.
They're breaking through this year. They're a fringe playoff team, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They'll be a playoff team.
Patriots.
Mac Jones, no good.
Bears.
I'm going to say no. I'm sorry. Find me how the Bears make the playoffs, because I got Detroit and I've got Minnesota coming out of division. There's only one division winner, and I think the other one's got a wild card spot. So take a timeout. What's your case for the Bears?
Well, I mean, it's just going to be a big prove-it year for Justin Fields. He has the weapons. I think there's still a lot of holes on the defense and maybe even the offensive line. But I think if they're going to make the playoffs, it's going to be a wild card. Or they could surprise some people. Maybe if they make a move, maybe get Chris Jones here in the next few days. But that's another story. Let's get back to this. Did I say the Jets?
No, but the Jets not only are making the playoffs, they're winning the division.
Okay.
Lock that in.
Seahawks.
The Geno belief. I'm going to say no, just because I'm hoping the Rams are also on this list, so I could say yes.
Rams.
Yes.
Titans.
I'm going to say no, or this is a good one, because I know you're looking for one-word answers. I'm not sold on Jacksonville, but the only way the Titans make it to the playoffs is that they win the division. I will say no, but I would not be surprised if Tennessee is contending for the playoffs. I'd also bet they're over on their win total.
Dolphins.
Oh yeah. You want my, I don't know if there's other teams on the list, but I have a hot take that I could throw into that one.
Bills.
There it is. Plus 220. Plus 220. Buffalo Bills to miss the playoffs. I'm telling you, they're not as good as people think. They're a good team. They are. They are a good team. I think the Jets are better, and I think the Dolphins are better. If Jalen Ramsey didn't get hurt, I'm feeling a lot better about that. I will say no for the hot take, but also because I just think that there's a chance that Miami and New York could be better when it's all said and done. Plus the strength of the AFC.
All right, that's my list. Let's go to the draft so I could win another one.
See, you actually might win this one because you and I were debating about this one. Buffalo's going to be an interesting team, though. Sorry, Mr. Zach Bye. All right, so what are we doing? We're drafting athletes based off how hilarious they are?
Yep, funniest athletes. It could be current, it could be past. Just has to be an athlete at some point. Funniest athletes. I think I went first in the football helmet draft, so I'll let you do the honors with the first pick. Funniest athletes draft.
I got to take an easy because there's a couple on here that I don't think you might have. Maybe you do. I got to take a big one, and I don't even think this one's probably on your list, but I don't think it's your top pick. And I'm going for it based off what we've seen in his career, what we've seen from him on TV, and the memes that we see in the replies to everybody's tweets or X's. I'm going with Shaquille O'Neal, my funniest athlete of all time. I love watching Shaq. I love the memes. Like, sorry, I was not familiar with your game. Like, just everything. You know, there's some other stuff with Shaq that I feel like is just classic. The way that him and Chuck go after each other. He's also a DJ, which I know like isn't funny, but it's kind of funny in the sense of like, what can't this guy do? The Papa John stuff. Like, Shaq, the entity, has a lot of humor in him. Funny guy, nice guy, says some obscenities and some absurd stuff. Number one pick, Shaq.
DJ Diesel, right?
Exactly right.
All right, I'm going to take a guy that he's on TV with on TNT, the funniest show in all of sports, Charles Barkley, my number one pick. I think he's even funnier than Shaq on that show, and them together is just a great combination. Like when Shaq was saying like how people confuse him for other people, and he goes, "Who do they confuse you for, Shrek?" That was one of the best TV moments of all time. So
It's fair.
Chuck, Charles Barkley, number one. And then my wraparound, I'm going to go with a athlete that retired recently, and he is one of the funniest athletes that you'll ever see, Rob Gronkowski, Gronk.
A good one. Gronk was on my list, so let me go ahead and cross him off. I like both picks. I also find it fun. Like I had a feeling one of Chuck or Shaq were going top for either of us. The fact that they both go, I think, is hilarious. So that's a good one. Gronk's a good one. Gronk's also just kind of like one of those guys you'd want to chill with. So good pick there. I'll keep it with the NFL.
Oh boy!
And this is someone who I don't think tries to be funny, but is funny.
Damn it! That was
Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is my next pick. You gotta love Jameis Winston. He loves his crab legs. I love me some crab legs. The motivational speeches, the antics, everything about Jameis Winston is just is hilarious. So I'll go with Jameis Winston.
What about the drills that he does? He posts like the videos that people like whacking him with like noodles.
Yeah.
When he's, like, I don't know how any of these drills relate to being in the NFL, but everything he does unintentionally is hilarious. And I'm pissed that you got that pick. I almost wish that I would have taken him over Gronk.
I had a feeling, and I was gonna keep it down.
He's one of my all-time favorite NFL players. Just
I know. I had to snag him there. So, all right, I'll go Jameis Winston. And then now this is where it gets interesting on the wraparound because I've got a couple of options here. Why don't I go with the Jameis Winston of the NBA, a retired player? J.R. Smith, baby. J.R. Smith is my wraparound pick, shooting his shot in the DMs. Obviously, the blunder that happened at the end of the NBA Finals with him just kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Like, J.R. Smith is classic. I mean, you got to respect the confidence. You got to respect the game. And you got to respect J.R. Smith, the man. So I'll go with J.R. Smith as my next pick.
I'm so glad that this is still available. I was worried that you're going to take this one because it would have been my next two picks. But Marshawn Lynch is hilarious. I mean, there is infinite amounts of clips of this guy on the internet doing just hilarious things. One of my favorites, all-time favorites, is when he's like in Buffalo and he's like goes to the Applebee's. He's like, I don't know what I like more, the ambiance or the decor. And he's like, then he goes to Dave and Buster's. Everything he does is funny. So Marshawn Lynch, that guy I could listen to for hours, just talk about anything. Anything he says is pretty funny.
It's a good one.
And then next, the only other guy that I had a star next, because I had a star next to my top five, you took one of them with Jameis, is Derek Lewis in the UFC. I mean, his post-fight interviews in the octagon are hilarious. My balls is hot. He never fails to take his pants off after he wins. I remember he threw his cup into the crowd after a fight once. Everything he says is funny. I mean, he will never say that he's hurt. If they ask him like what happened, like are you hurt? He comes up with some excuse like he's got to take a shit or he got hot Cheeto dust in his eye. So Derek Lewis never fails to make me laugh. So he's my fourth pick.
Interesting. All right. I like Derek Lewis a lot. I didn't have any fighters on my list, believe it or not. I don't think McGregor's funny. I'm kind of annoyed of McGregor right now. Like, I know a lot of people still love it. Like, I can't deal with it anymore. Honorable mention for Dylan Dennis and Logan Paul. I don't have unless you're going to choose any of them. If you want to, you can. I don't know if you really consider them athletes, but what's going on between those two right now is next level. All right, let's go. Do I have back-to-back or just one here?
Yep. You got your last two picks right now.
Mm. All right. Well, let's keep this one easy since I've got control of the board. I got to put Nicole Yic on my list, so I'll put him here at 4. Another guy who's unintentionally funny. I mean, sometimes he tries to be. Like, there's a video of him, like, they put, like, a blindfold on him, or, like, it was, like, one of those, like, Nuggets videos where you have to, like, guess the object, and it was a Furby. And like he like could not remember like the name of what it was, and they're like, "It's a Furby," and he's like, "Furby, I knew it!" And it just cracks me up every time. His like there's like the picture of him like looking at like the stats where he's like, "There's that's funny." The video game of him
There's
like
pictures of him as a kid, or
yeah, that's funny. That I paused my video game to be here T-shirt that he's worn. He's the Joker for a reason, so I'll go with Nicole Yic. And now here's where I'm split. I've got 2 picks. Both former athletes, both do stuff with the media. I'll go with the one that inspires laughter through his product. And it's not that he's always funny, but his product as a whole is funny, and he's a big part of that. For my last pick, I'm going Pat McAfee with my final pick here. Former punter for the Colts. I think the Pat McAfee show is not really a show, it's an experience. So I'll go with Pat McAfee because he doesn't always say like the funniest things, but he gets these players to loosen up and be funny, and the people he has around them are funny. So I'll say Pat McAfee, the experience as a whole, is my 5th and final pick.
Yeah, that puts me in a tough spot because I was debating him for this last pick with a couple other guys. I'm going to have a million honorable mentions. I got these 2.
Flip a coin. I wonder where you're going here.
All right, I'll tell you the 2 that I'm debating with before I pick my 2. I'm debating between John Daly and Mike Tyson.
Damn, how did I not think of John Daly?
But I'm going to take John Daly, and not because you just said that.
Yeah.
But, John Daly, everything he does is hilarious, and he's unlike any other golfer. No golfers are like John Daly, where he's always at Hooters. He says the most outlandish things. There's that picture of that guy running on the green while he's like kissing his wife, and he's got the 19th hole written on his back. But I'll go with John Daly as my Mr. Irrelevant to round off the draft. But the reason I was thinking Mike Tyson is because recently there was that video. Do you see he was on like some podcast with Dana White? I think it was his own podcast. And Dana White's talking about how he loves like old school rap. And then out of nowhere, Mike Tyson just goes, "You give love a bad name." And Dana White's just like, Bon Jovi.
Yeah, he's great. I had some honorable mentions as well on my list. Let's see. I had Joey Votto as an honorable mention. The one that I was debating was Magic Johnson with like, "I ain't gonna be here." Like, it just like his tweets are like so literal that they come off as funny sometimes. Like, they're just so like evergreen. Like, I think Magic Johnson is unintentionally hilarious. I had Shannon Sharp on here. I had Kevin Garnett as well, but Kevin Garnett's kind of like the bully funny. Like, he just makes people uncomfortable and like was just trash talking. I also had Tony Gonzalez from his intros back on Sunday Night Football back in the day.
Yeah,
he used to have some classic intros.
I can't think of anything else that he's done that was funny. But I guess I got a pretty big list of honorable mentions. Antonio Brown, he's pretty funny on Twitter, especially
for the wrong reasons.
Aaron Rodgers, I think he's pretty sneaky.
I had him on mine.
Bill Walton is also unintentionally funny just because he's being himself. Paul Bissonnette, he's awesome on the TNT hockey show. Munori Kawasaki, old Japanese baseball player. He's got, if you haven't looked at like his just funny clips on YouTube, I definitely recommend doing that. I have Kevin Durant also because on Twitter he's pretty funny too. And then as I mentioned, Mike Tyson. Barely missed my cut.
Yeah, very good options. Very good. I think we both nailed it with 1-1 though. Chuck and Charles. I don't think it gets.
And it's even better that they're together on. I mean, it's got to be by far the best sports show on TV is the ESPN or the TNT NBA.
Yeah, it's a very well done production. So good list. Let us know who won at Media by AP at Superbook Unit, and away we go. All right, thumbs up, thumbs down time. One take we love, one thing we hate. I went first in the draft, so you go first with your thumbs up for the week.
All right, so my thumbs up is you see I got the Tennessee orange on today. I'm going to the game this weekend, Tennessee, Virginia in Nashville. So my thumbs up is betting at a game you're at. There's nothing better than being in the seats, boots on the ground, sweating out a bet. I mean, no matter what it is, minor league baseball, college football, NBA, whatever it is, you got action on a game that you're live in the seats in. That's just takes it to the next level and makes it even better, especially when you cash.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Where does that rank in regards to like atmospheres that you've been to?
Which one? Tennessee?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, but I've never seen them. They're playing in Nashville at the Titans. Normally in Knoxville and Neyland Stadium is the best atmosphere I've been in all of sports. But we'll see what it's like playing in an NFL stadium this weekend. They take on Virginia, and they'll probably win by 60 points, and Joe Milton will start his Heisman campaign.
We shall see. I'm looking forward to that one. Have a good time out there. I'll keep it NFL-centric. You also knew this was probably coming. TL5. Trey Lance, soon to be QB1, dare I say, of my Dallas Cowboys. No, I love the move for a 4th-round pick. As Skip Bayless likes to say, put some pressure on middle of the pack Dak. Let's see what they could do. And is it the best move in the world? No, but for a 4th-round pick, get a top 3 talent where you're still not completely sold on your quarterback. I like it. Fresh start. Dude's played like 2 games in the NFL. We'll see how it shakes out. But my thumbs up, Jerry. Getting Trey Lance in here for a 4th-round pick. Never a bad idea to have quarterback depth, and never a bad idea to have that depth be a former top 5 pick as well. So 2 thumbs up, Jerry Jones, Trey Lance, welcome to the party.
Yeah, so I texted you right when I saw that. I just said congrats on Trey Lance. I agree. I think it's definitely a high or a low risk, high reward situation, and it puts some lights of fire under Dak. So I think it's definitely a win-win when it comes to Dallas. And obviously, that was quite the move by the Niners, drafting him and trading up to that. But it doesn't even matter because they're still Super Bowl contenders, and it had pretty much no effect on their franchise, despite the Dolphins and now the Cowboys reaping some benefits from it.
Yeah, well said.
So I'll go with my thumbs down is something I've always been fired up about. This always grinds my gears, but it especially is fresh in my mind because football is back. But people who bitch about like the matchups, football game matchups, whether it's NFL or college football, they'll say like, oh, all these games, they're playing the cupcakes in week 1, or like when it's a Thursday night game between the Texans and the Titans, and they complain. We just went, I don't know how many months without football. Be grateful that there's football, and that's why we have sports betting. If the matchup's not so great, get some action on it, makes the game a little better, and that's my thumbs down. People who bitch about football game matchups, just watch the game. It sounds like you don't like football very much if you're complaining about the matchups.
Very well said. And honestly, I might just say thumbs down to people that bitch about anything in general. Like, it's okay to complain. Like, not everything's perfect, but like, there's some people that I swear like thrive off of bitching. Like, it's like it's like a passion of like complaining and pointing things out, nitpicking and like this and that. So very well said. You can only play these on your schedule. I will still be enjoying the games. I like that one. I'll keep mine NFL centric. How about the NFL ripping the heart and soul out of Panini trading cards? Gone are the days of the NFL Panini product, although they did just launch a Luminance product this like last week or something. But for those of you that don't know, the NFL basically revoking their license or changing their license agreement, terminating their license agreement with Panini Sports Cards, which is who does Prism and Chronicles and all those big trading card sets, in favor of a new deal with Fanatics. And we all knew that it was inevitable. But the thought of Panini no longer producing high quality football and NFL cards is pretty sad. I know I got back into the hobby a lot back in COVID and all that kind of stuff. So thumbs down, NFL ripping the heart out of Panini.
Yeah, so I swear every time I buy a box or anything or packs, I always regret it afterwards because almost all the time it's junk. And if it is a good hit, it's something that I don't care about. So then I have to go through the process of selling it and getting money to buy something else. So now I just buy individual cards of athletes and teams that I actually like. So I always regret buying boxes and packs, even though it's fun for the 2 seconds that it takes you to open them.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I actually just enjoy watching on TikTok the lives of people opening boxes and everything.
It's like my pastime. That's what I watch.
Every night before I go to bed, I watch people open boxes of cards.
Yeah. I am a big fan of that as well. So, all right, good stuff, my friend. Football season is upon us, which means football is here for everybody else. And if you live in a state where the Superbook Sports app is available, do yourself a favor and use my promo code APBETS. When you use that code, when you sign up, deposit, and place a wager in the same day, you'll find yourself with a bonus of the $250 with my promo code APBETS over at Superbook Sports. But, all right, buddy, enjoy yourself out there in Tennessee. Be safe, win some money. And NFL season is upon us. Super Bowl out there in Vegas this year. I'm sure I'll be out there a handful of times during NFL and college football season. So the fun is getting started, my friend. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. Let's win some money. And we got a really good draft coming up next week, too. Things to do on an NFL Sunday, so stay tuned for that.
Absolutely. I'm at Media by AP. He's at Superbook Unit. Follow along with us on social and also get your bets in with Superbook Sports. That's going to do it for us on another installment of the Fast Five. Good luck on your bets this weekend. For Unit, I'm AP. We'll chat with you guys next week.